What is going on, everybody? Sports Expert here, and we are going to be doing our college football top 25. So before I show the rankings, please hit the subscribe button if you're new, turn on post notifications, like the video, comment what you think. Liking the video helps our video in the algorithm, and commenting, so I would really appreciate if you guys did that. So yeah, let's get started here. My college football top 25 after week 7. At 25, we have Louisiana, the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns, after a huge win at home against the App State Mountaineers. That one loss at Texas is going to hurt them because Texas is now 4-3, but going into Texas on week 1 just wasn't it was a tough matchup. So honestly, I'll give them some slack there and put them in my top 25, as I think Louisiana is a solid football team. Levi Lewis looks like a for real quarterback over there in the Sun Belt, and yeah, they really have a chance to win the Sun Belt unless Coastal Carolina keeps doing what they're doing. At 24, we have the Air Force Falcons. Air Force looks really good this season. I'm going to have them in the rankings. And yeah, Brad Roberts rushed for 138 yards and a couple touchdowns last night versus Boise State. I actually picked Boise State to win that game, but Air Force came out strong and was able to pull it out. So good for them. They're now 6-1 and bowl eligible. At 23, we have the Pitt Panthers. The Pitt Panthers are now they beat Virginia Tech 28-7. I believe they're now 6-1 or 5-1, whatever it is. But Kenny Pickett, he's looked like a Heisman candidate all season. Not saying he will be in the Heisman race, but he definitely needs some attention at least. I mean, Pitt looks really good with him. He didn't look great his first couple seasons, but he's having a breakout season right now, just boosting that draft stock for the next year or so. At 22, we have the Auburn Tigers. They are coming off a 38-23 win over 17th ranked Arkansas. And I will spoil something. Arkansas is not ranked on here. And Bo Nix. People call him Mo Picks, but this is the year. He's having fun. Bo Nix. What a game he had. He had a couple nice deep shots for to the end zone for a touchdown. I mean, going into Arkansas and playing against that atmosphere, I mean, that was solid. A solid performance by Brian Harsin and the Auburn Tigers. He's definitely done an impressive job over there for Auburn, so got to give him some credit. At 21, we have the SMU Mustangs. SMU, I don't think they played this past week, so they will play Tulane on a Thursday night. They probably should win that one, and I have them staying in the rankings at 21, obviously. SMU is definitely a top 25 team, no doubt about it. Tanner Mordecai looks really good. Grant Galcatera was a nice weapon added to that offense. And yeah, I really like what SMU's doing over here. Sonny Dykes has definitely done a great job. At 20, we have the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. They moved down in my rankings. They had a bye, but the reason why they moved down, I feel like there's some teams that just deserve to move up at this point. So at this juncture. But Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons are 6-0, still having an awesome season, but I feel like they're one of those teams that's probably going to lose the game sooner rather than later. At 19, we have the UTSA Roadrunners, who's looked great this season. Just imagine UTSA, an undefeated UTSA versus a one-loss UTEP college game day. I don't know, we'll see. But at the same time, UTSA looks solid this season. I don't think anyone expected them to be 7-0. Unfortunately, UTEP's not ranked on here, but they're 6-1. They're looking very solid right now. But UTSA definitely exceeding expectations, no doubt. At 18, we have the Texas A&M Aggies. They are coming off a huge win, 35-14 over the Missouri Tigers. I picked Missouri to upset them at home, but that was a bad pick, and Texas A&M is for real right now. They finally showed up, and Zach Calzada, after struggling for a bit, he is that NFL quarterback that Jimbo Fisher was talking about. He's actually good now, weirdly. I don't get it. But Texas, I didn't think he'd turn it around that quick. But Texas A&M, they're 18 in the rankings. Definitely not going to compete in the SEC or anything, but they could still go 10-2. But that might be tough. But who knows? At 17, we have the Baylor Bears. Baylor, they've looked solid all year. They've looked solid defensively. They've looked all right offensively as well. So, I mean, Baylor, they beat 19th ranked BYU 38-24. BYU has now lost 2 in a row. Not good for them at all. BYU kind of, they almost lost to Arizona. They kind of have looked bad in some games, to be honest. I will be honest there. They did get the win against Utah, which was a good win. But to be honest, Baylor is not that good. I mean, not Baylor. BYU is not that good. BYU is kind of frauds, to be honest. But at the same time, Baylor at home should have won that game, and they did. They won by 14. Dave Aranda doing a great job over there. He could get the LSU job, but I don't know. At 16, we have the Oregon Ducks. Oregon is coming off a close win against Cal, who was 1-4, now 1-5. 24-17. Oh my gosh. At home, I think, too. Yeah, Anthony Brown isn't the answer. I think they have to bench him at this point, But, CJ Verdell being out for the year, it just is tough for this team. And I believe one of their safeties, Bennett Williams is the name, I believe. He's out for the year. That is 2 major losses for this Oregon Ducks squad. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to have to, play it simple in the Pac-12. At 15, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame just looks better than Oregon right now, even though they did lose to Cincinnati at home by 11. I still think Notre Dame has top 15 talent, and yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how they're going to approach the rest of the season with Drew Pine or Jack Cohn, but we'll see. But Brian Kelly's done a nice job there. At 14, we have the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers. One coach has done a great job is Jamie Chadwell. He won the Coach of the Year last year, and he's still undefeated this season. Coastal Carolina looks solid. Grayson McCall is one of the best players in all of college football, not just quarterbacks. I mean, people undervalue him. Nobody talks about him, but he's a great player. Isaiah Likely is one of the best tight ends in the nation. Jeez, this team has a lot of talent, and you got to give credit to the recruiting, the coaches, and the development staff. I mean, this Coastal Carolina team looks like a legit team in the country. At 13, we have the North Carolina State Wolfpack. They are coming off a 33-7 win on the road against Boston College. Boston College is no good anymore without Phil Dracovic. Dennis Grosel is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen. And coming from a guy that's watched a ton of quarterbacks and watched a ton of football and studied a ton of quarterbacks, he's really bad. He's one of the worst I've ever seen. But at the same time, I can't really discredit NC State at this point. They're playing great football. And I had them unranked in my rankings last week, and that was a mistake. They're the best team in the ACC right now. At 12, we have the Kentucky Wildcats. They're coming off a 30-13 loss against UGA. At least they covered the spread. I thought they'd covered the spread, and they did. The play calling was abysmal in this game by Kentucky. Way too conservative in the beginning, and it was just a little too late. I mean, you're playing UGA. You can't be conservative. I mean, Liam Cohn, who's calling the plays, I mean, you can't be conservative. I mean, that was embarrassing. I don't know if any Kentucky fans are watching this, but that was absolutely embarrassing by Kentucky, those play calls. Screen pass, run, screen pass. I mean, literally handcuffing Will Levis. And, let's go up the middle with Will Levis. Oh, my gosh. You realize they have Nakobe Dean? Whatever. At 11, we have the Ole Miss Rebels. They are coming off a crazy 31-26 win over the Tennessee man. Ole Miss. Jeez, what an ending that game was. I mean, Lane Kiffin getting golf balls thrown at him, mustard being thrown on the field, water bottles. Wow. I mean, Ole Miss comes out with the win, though, in Tennessee land. So, Matt Corral looked like a solid quarterback. He's probably quarterback 1 at this point. I don't think anyone's debating that. Malik Willis struggled against Liberty. Yeah, I mean, for Liberty against UL Monroe, that's embarrassing as it gets. And his stock is probably second, third round at this point. I mean, that was bad. Unless he can show something crazy towards the end of the season and his pro day. At 10, we have the Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa, oh my gosh, they look bad against Purdue at home, 24-7. Iowa is frauds. They don't have an offense. They were never going to survive the season with that offense. Spencer Petras is probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the Power 5. 4 interceptions. It's amazing how I called this guy underrated before the season started. I feel ashamed now. At 9, we have the Michigan Wolverines. They are coming off a bye. I had to move them down a spot, but at the same time, they're still a top 10 team and one of the best teams in the country. 6-0, definitely surprising me. I think they're surprising a lot of college football fans right now. Jim Harbaugh has done an all right job. Cade McNamara has been decent, So, yeah. At 8, and Blake Corum's obviously a Heisman candidate. At 8, we have the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I'm interested to see R.J. Young's rankings. But Oklahoma State at 8, I wonder if he has Oklahoma State at 1 at this point. Oh, my gosh. But Oklahoma State, I mean, Mike Gundy, one of the best coaches in the country, is doing it again They're there every year. They're hanging around every year, Oklahoma State. They never get the job done. Maybe they can do it this year. I don't know if Spencer Sanders is good enough, though. That's the problem. Their defense is going to have to do a ton of heavy carrying. Going to have to do, so. But they have an all right game. Oklahoma State, they don't have like major playmakers on offense, but they have players that can play. But, they're going to need to keep it up if they want to have a chance at the college football playoff. At 7, we have the Penn State Nittany Lions. They're coming off a bye. And, yeah, they play Ohio State in a couple weeks, and they're going to need to win that game to keep their college football playoff hopes alive. Sorry, but I don't know if that's going to happen in the shoe. I mean, Oregon won in the shoe, but who knows at this point. Ohio State looks better, but Penn State still looks like a solid team. We'll see if Sean Clifford is healthy. Taquan Robinson and this other guy were sharing first-team reps, so that's not a great sign for Clifford, but it's a bye week. At 6, we have the Michigan State Spartans. They're coming off a 20-15 win over the Indiana Hoosiers on the road. Indiana's a solid team, not a good team, though. Like a great team. But Michigan State was able to do that on the road. It's always tough to go to Indiana and win, Always tough to go to Bloomsburg. And Ohio State has to do that next week, but Michigan State still looks like one of the best teams in the country. It's one of the best coach teams in the country. It might be the best coach team in the country. Kenneth Walker had a letdown week, which probably means Bryce Young is the number 1 Heisman candidate again. So, yeah, Michigan State. Sorry, Kenneth Walker. It lasted a week. At 5, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. They are coming off a 49-9 win on the road over Mississippi State. That was impressive, not going to lie, but still a bit of concern just because Mississippi State isn't a good football team. Mike Leach is a really bad coach. I don't care what people say about Mike Leach. Oh, he's been good here. He's a bad football coach. He coaches the sport of football, and he's bad at doing it. So I hope you guys know that. Common sense. But Jamison Williams, one of the best receivers in the country, transferred from Ohio State. Gosh, is he good or what? Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Jamison Williams is that good. John Mechie looked solid last night, too. This team has some players. Brian Robinson, yeah. At 4, we have the Oklahoma Sooners. They are coming off a 52-31 win over the TCU Horned Frogs. Their offense looks amazing now with Caleb Williams. At this point, I just feel bad for Spencer Rattler. Jeez. I mean, he's been getting torn up there in Norman. Like, literally. He's been getting torn up like a piece of cardboard. It's just not ideal. Not the ideal situation for him, and he probably transfers after the season. I could see a team like LSU taking him, or I don't know. Who knows at this point? But Spencer Rattler, I mean, it's his career at Oklahoma is more than likely over unless Caleb Williams gets injured. I don't know. But at the same time, maybe he maybe transfers to Ole Miss and goes to play for Lane Kiffin. At 3, we have the Ohio State Buckeyes. They are coming off a bye. They look like a solid team whatsoever. The defense is getting better. C.J. Stroud's getting better. He's a Heisman candidate at this point. Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave are showing now why they are the best wide receiver duo in the country. Even Jackson Smith-Njigba has been very good. He'll be a solid piece for this team for the next season or two. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Ohio State can do. At 2, we have the Cincinnati Bearcats. They are coming off a 56-21 win over the UCF Knights at home. Cincinnati, Luke Fickell's done a great job there. We'll see if he takes a much, significant job this offseason. They are going to the Big 12, so that'll help, Cincinnati's case of keeping Luke Fickell. We'll see if they have the money, though. But Luke Fickell might just stay there. I mean, he declined the Michigan State job a couple seasons ago, and look at them now. He could have taken that job and been successful in the Big 10. But at the same time, Cincinnati, I got to say it, I mean, they're a top 2 team in the country. I mean, he shouldn't leave at this point if Cincinnati's going to have this success. They're going to lose some talent next year, but there's no way they don't recruit at a better level. And at 1, obviously, the Georgia Bulldogs coming off a 30-13 win over the Kentucky Wildcats at home. Shouldn't have been a tough game for them. Stetson Bennett's looked good in JT Daniels' place. Not saying Stetson Bennett should be starting. It probably should still be JT Daniels, but he still looks solid. Maybe he'll be their starter next season, not going to lie, but they might have the best tight end in the country in Brock Bowers, and they still have Darnell Washington. People don't talk about that. Their running game looked solid. Kendall Milton, Zamir White, James Cook, who's the brother of Dalvin Cook, all look great. And yeah, in the Georgia Bulldogs, their defense is something else. Nakobe Dean, Adam Anderson, and maybe the next Aaron Donald, Jordan Davis. Oh my gosh. And yeah, they also got Darian Kendrick, too, has had a bounce back season. He surprised a lot of people, including me. But I appreciate everyone being here. That's my college football top 25 after week 7. I appreciate everyone being here. Please hit the subscribe button if you're new. Turn on the post notifications. Like the video. Helps in the algorithm. Obviously, the commenting too. Would appreciate it. I'm out, guys. Sports expert here. You can debate in the comments. Peace.